Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 50 episodes of this Video Games Are Hard podcast with me and my best buddy Sid on the internet.
Yeah.
And this is the grand finale episode of Season 1, so we figured we would bring on a very special person, someone that we've actually referenced for some weird reason since the beginning of the podcast. I think as early as episode 1, Sid was like, we may get Giradam on. I don't know. Just someone.
He was the guest that I was just like, what's the dream guest? I'm like, you know what? I think Giradam would be interesting.
And I'm still sitting here wondering why he was the dream guest. But anyway, we have him on now. Everyone, welcome to the Twilight Princess speedrunner, Giradam.
Hello.
But I think he prefers Adam, right?
I do prefer that, but you can call me whatever you'd like.
Well,
Great.
it's like a def and a def. It's just like the correct pronunciation is a def. But if you call him a def, he won't like hurt you. You know.
Oh, so you're saying it's Giradam, but like the Jur part's actually silent secretly?
Yeah. There's also some hidden lore that I got scared that you might know because you said ADEF, and it sounds very similar to that. There's a third name.
Ooh.
What's the third name?
ADAF.
What?
For ADEF or for you?
For me.
For you? This is crazy. This is crazy.
I don't know if I can go into the lore here, but
you can go into the lore if you want.
That is nuts.
It's kind of private. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Then that's fine. It's a podcast. Welcome to the podcast. It's episode 50. You're our finale.
I'm honored. Maybe this can be a topic of season 2.
How does it feel being the grand finale guest on this prestigious podcast?
I'm honored with my two dream hosts right here.
Yay!
You're the dream guest. We're the dream host. It's a match made in heaven, I guess.
See, Giradam has always, or Adam. I'm gonna fight myself the entire time. It's interesting because we've known each other for a very long time. Since before Super Mario Sunshine was like, I remember Giradam being like, just get 119 forehead, you know, and
he did it.
And I eventually did do it, but this was in what 2015. So,
but you did it.
Yeah.
Yo,
but
so
5 years ago,
Adam was your main inspiration to beat me in 80%?
No, he was just a bully. But I did end up getting that, but it was 5 years ago. That's my point. Like he was bullying me over 5 years ago, and I've been periodically watching his Twilight Princess stream. That's why I chose him as a great final guest for us to have. And because we can draw on his Twilight Princess experience with having an HD version out and all this fresh 3D All-Stars conversation, you know?
Like, yeah, we essentially already have the Zelda 3D All-Stars. You just got to get them all separately for $60.
Each.
Yeah.
But welcome to the show. So we're going to talk to Giradam. Hello, Giradam.
Hello.
I think we should kick things off with a topic that is sort of, it's not as big right now. You know, Mario's kind of big right now. We can get to that later. There's actually like a Mario thing we want to touch on, which is the fresh Sunshine hates because of people playing the game again. But before that, let's focus on the guest here. So a few months ago, there were a lot of Zelda breakthroughs coming in. You know, Ocarina of Time, got that SRM nonsense going on where you got like the light blue tunic and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And then you got Majora's Mask, Moon Warp, Skyward Sword is like half the length. And so there was speculation for like, every game in the Zelda 3D series is getting hella broken. But when is that going to finally happen to Twilight Princess? Are there any leads on that? Or like what's going on with that game right now?
So that game is, it's so hard to break. I mean, not many people realize it because they've known the speedrun for like years now, like because it hasn't changed, but we already skip so much. It's like in any percent, you only visit 2 dungeons, Forest Temple and Snow Peak, just for the main dungeon item, and you don't even beat it. And then there's 2 other dungeons, Temple of Time and Goron Mines, you just completely skip them. Right. So there's always been large sequence breaks in the game. It's just trying to reduce it further, and there just really hasn't been any breakthroughs in such a long time now. I mean, anything that we have theorized to save time, if it could be done, it wouldn't like cut the game in half, for example. It would probably save maybe 20 to 30 minutes at absolute most. So you're looking at like a 2.5 hour run still. So it's not as significant as anything else. But with that being said, there are certain parts of the game that if we could edit, the speedrun could be, I mean, depending on how long it takes, it could be minutes or it could be maybe 1 to 2 hours. One of the biggest glitches is back in time, where you're on the title screen and there's an extension of that. And based on the data that goes into it, if we could just edit one byte of the save file there, being the spawn point, we would be able to warp immediately to the credits. So
damn. You just gotta solve byte editing, guys.
So, does it make you sad? You know, I'm gonna explain what's sad, like what would make you sad. All these other games are getting eternally broken. Like Majora's Mask is a shell of its former self, but it's still broken to hell. And same with Ocarina of Time, and not Skyward Sword. But when you look at Twilight Princess and you're still speedrunning it, like you've taken periodic breaks, and we'll probably get into that. But still an active runner. Even today, you were doing runs. But do you get sad when you look at everybody else getting skips, or do you just like acknowledge that Twilight Princess is a different game, or what?
Well, I don't know if sad is the right word. Like, it's definitely cool that the other games are getting things, but Ocarina of Time 80% has been garbage for years.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Everyone will admit that. Majora's Mask, it was pretty good. Just the game by nature had a lot of cutscenes, but when it was about an hour and a half, it was still an entertaining run. Skyward Sword definitely needed it, being almost 5 hours long. I think it's a little under an hour and a half now, but it's a very good run. Like, if any percent for Twilight Princess were broken to be similar to Skyward Sword, I think that'd be great. Like 3 hours, yeah, that's a bit long for an any percent run, but I think something 1.5 to 2 hours, that would still be pretty good. There'd still be a lot of entertainment value to that. If it became like an N64 Zelda, I just don't think that would be fun. It would just become a grind, whatever trick made that category work.
Yeah, there's definitely like a fine line where if it gets too broken, like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, those 80% are pretty much dead now because it's just beyond repair. But Majora's Mask, for a while there, was riding a good line where it was like just the right length, around Sunshine's length, like 1 hour, 15 minutes if you're like NOP level of skill. But like, if Twilight Princess gets to that length from some crazy skip, I feel like it'd be a lot more popular because I feel like some people are turned off by the length of the game. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I completely agree. It's that, and then some of the earlier game tricks, like the first, I'll just say an hour of the any percent run, there's a lot of like high skill requirement tricks that are just difficult to learn. So if you really dedicate yourself to learning the game, if you get by the first hour, most people will finish learning. But then, as you said, it's so long. A new runner doesn't get a 3 hour time every time. It's 3.5. It's 4 hours long. So it's hard to maintain. If it were shorter, for sure, people would, I think, stick to it.
Oh yeah. Well, see, what's funny is you say that the Ocarina of Time any percent is garbage, and I'll agree. Like, especially now, like with whatever's accepted on the leaderboard now, Ocarina of Time is insane. But like it's funny to say that, but Ocarina of Time is, especially back in 2013, everybody's first taste of speedrunning, or a lot of people's first taste of speedrunning, was the 25-minute run. And you just sat down and be like, how can you beat Ocarina of Time in 25 minutes? And just watch Ganondorf, or like the wrong warp to Ganon. And then you're just like, wait, what? And then you're just like, wow. You're like, for a lot of people, that's shattered a lot of, I don't know, interpretations of what speedrunning could be, or like just introduced them to speedrunning in general. So like, sure, it's garbage to like grind over and over again, but it's a really good starting point for a lot of people to be like, oh, this is kind of an interesting thing in speedrunning. So it's like kind of required in some way.
Yeah, honestly, thinking about it now, the first run that I saw that wasn't just like a GDQ thing on YouTube. Well, actually, no, I saw this before GDQ. My older brother showed me a Reddit post about ZFG's 2145 Ocarina of Time. And that was like the perfect run to open up my mind to like, oh wow, people actually go to like this level of extent of breaking stuff. That's insane. But like, yeah, again, grind that would kind of suck. But just having that demonstration is kind of cool. And I feel like Ocarina of Time now has actually gone beyond that point where it's just like dumb now.
Well, it's the gateway drug, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, now you can spawn the whatever fighter jets there were that ZFG had.
Oh yeah, the R-Wings.
Yeah, that's what they are.
But like so the 25-minute run was the gateway drug for everybody to witness, and then like the third step is watching a 3-hour run of whatever game and being like, oh, okay, well, this is also cool, but the entryway of watching just like, oh, the 25-minute video, I'll sit, you know. When you see like a 3-hour video on YouTube, you're not sitting there going like, oh.
Well, actually, I there is an argument to be made for that. People like those longer videos just in general on YouTube to fall asleep to, quote unquote. not that it's boring, but it's like a little thing you watch as you're, in bed or whatever on your phone. And the longer runs are perfect for that, I find. So I think Twilight Princess can fit that niche pretty well.
I think that's a little too long, but yeah.
I mean, you might like watch part of it and then fall asleep, then pick up where you left off the next night and fall asleep. I've done that before, actually.
If only YouTube had a sleep timer. I just want sleep timers on everything now. Like I keep playing a YouTube video and I'm like, oh, I could listen to whatever soundtrack for like 15 minutes until I fall asleep, but it's like a 2-hour long YouTube video. And I'm just like, I just want YouTube to have a sleep timer. But at the same time, YouTube's just like, no, keep watching everything.
Yeah.
It's like
and you
watch
wake
minutes.
up and your phone's dead.
Yeah, it sucks.
And you need YouTube Premium to have a video playing when your phone's locked for some reason. But anyway, there's actually one thing in Twilight Princess that I was watching a Fino stream in like 2013, probably forever ago. And he was doing a demonstration run of what could be the route if one thing was changed. Apart from like that bite thing you were talking about, there's like that infamous wall outside, like out of bounds in the area where like in front of Hyrule Castle, right?
Yep.
And so there's still no way around that. That's still just, there's no way around that as far as you know.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm not an expert here. I just know a little bit about it, but Hyrule Castle, it has the barrier around it, of course, and you need to beat the second half of the game dungeons, I'll say, to get the mirror shards and then beat the Palace of Twilight, and then you can go to Hyrule. But once you beat Lakebed Temple and you're in Midna's Desperate Hour, that part of the game, the barrier isn't up yet. So when you go to that part of Castletown, there's the doors there, and there's 2 guards in front of them, and the 2 guards there, they're in like a ghost form, I want to say, because you're in Desperate Hour.
Mhm.
But
Oh yeah.
either way, you can't get to the doors. They're just blocking it. And there's no way for us to get behind the doors to open them. And we can't get by the little like ghost spirits to push the door open. So we're just kind of stuck. Unless there's like a way to get by them, there's not much you can do. I think there's something about it too. Like even if you were able to get out of bounds to the other side of the doors, I want to say it doesn't load properly. Like the loading trigger to Hyrule, it's not linked properly. Any Twilight Princess person watching this, I probably misrepresented this, but either way, it's not possible. And another big thing that's missing is in Castletown, there's restricted items.
Right.
So you're very limited to what you can do.
So is it just like they luckily put a lot of factors in the perfect spots for you not to be able to do it?
Pretty much, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like I don't think they designed it with the intent of, oh wow, they're going to break the game and do this. I think it just so happens that what's there stops us from doing it with what we know.
They were looking at Wind Waker and they're like, just in case that barrier isn't good enough, we're going to really make sure we get this right.
But then they still got around it however many years later.
Well, with I guess they ended up doing it in the standard definition version. I don't even remember.
And it actually became hilariously simple, where you just like do a little bomb clip thing, but it's like a super precise angle.
Like if they didn't break it in Wind Waker HD, they wouldn't have broken it in SD. Or
Right.
like I guess that's too much of a state. There's probably some Wind Waker runner that would get really mad at me hearing me say that.
Dude,
Just like,
Link
we would have eventually figured it out. But
Link is just watching this. He's cringing through his screen right now.
it's just like, no, it wasn't. We would have done it.
But it begs the question, do you think that the bounty on Wind Waker Barrier Skip accelerated that thing being found? And do you think that a bounty thing on Twilight Princess would accelerate that progress?
Up warp in 64, dude.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Is that even solved yet?
I think it was like an emulator bug or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, would a bounty in Twilight Princess accelerate progress at all, you think?
I think it would. At the same time, I think we already have a few bounties out there.
Ooh.
I know we have some for lesser tricks that wouldn't like completely break the category. But I know there's at least a few different bounties out there for the game. I think another issue is just lack of people interested in the game. Like it will never be as big as like an N64 Zelda, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So if there were more people who played around with the game and tried to break it, I think we could find more. There's been a lot of more interest recently since maybe a few months ago, because I know Gymnast put out a video, and I want to say someone else, but there's a couple videos on YouTube going through the history of Twilight Princess and the sequence breaks, and then why we're stuck where we are right now, where, as you alluded to, every other 3D Zelda game kind of just got broken in the last like year or two.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We can get to that. Like we can get through the history of Twilight Princess by starting at the history of you.
Ooh.
See, every time we have a guest,
That was a good segue.
every time we get a guest, I don't even know if it was a good segue.
I thought it was
but
great.
I appreciate the compliment. Every time we have a guest, we talk about two things, and we'll get to the second thing eventually. But the first thing is we do the history of gaming. You know, we go into Adam's past. I broke my instinct was to say Giradam.
I was gonna say, he said it.
I did it, and I was happy for it. But we go into the history of gaming. You know what? And the question we start with, Trey, I remember we haven't done a regular interview in like 6 weeks.
Yes, how do we do this again?
So I forgot how to do it. But the question is, what is your first gaming memory, Adam?
Oh no.
Your very first gaming memory.
My first gaming memory is, I think I was 4 years old, and I don't remember what it was. Was it Christmas? Was it my birthday? Who knows? But my parents got me a Game Boy Color, and it was Pokemon Red.
Nice.
And I don't remember the early parts, but I do remember I didn't get Flash, so I couldn't see in a cave, and I cried. And then the next day, my mom got through the cave blind. I don't know how she did it.
Dude, that's insane.
Your mom is a trooper.
There are a lot of mothers in like the lives of speedrunners that are insane. Like V-Man's mom found Mole Skip in Super Mario Sunshine. My mother beat Battletoads.
That's an equal feat.
Apparently, it's an equal feat in my mind. I don't know. It's when I was 3. Apparently, my mom beat Battletoads. I like to reference it every now and then so that everybody eventually believes it.
Yeah, don't forget it.
I will never forget it. And you know what? Getting through a cave blind without Flash, not the easiest thing to do. You just kind of have to
Just walk into walls. See a lot of Zubats.
Well, I'd say feel it out, but it's really hard to feel it out to try to get through a cave blind. But so that was your first gaming memory, and how did you get from there to speedrunning? Like everybody eventually had their COD phase. Did you have a COD phase? What was the first console you got other than the Game Boy?
My first like real console was the GameCube. And it came with the Zelda Collector's Edition.
Yes.
And that's my first experience of playing Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Dude, I love that game. It has the red B button.
It does. And it's actually I mean, I don't think this specific version, like the Collector's Edition, is the fastest, but the GameCube version is now the fastest for any percent.
Turns out I had the best version all along.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I think that the OOT crew figured that one out.
You know what's hilarious about that? That reminds me. So, GameCube Ocarina of Time ends up being fast. And this is super random, but in Guitar Hero, do you guys like Guitar Hero? I know Sid does.
I played it. I played it when I was younger. Yep.
Okay, well, in the hardcore Guitar Hero community, this was actually like a few months ago, they realized that the Wii specific Guitar Hero guitars are actually the best ones to use. And I had the Wii version growing up, so I just magically have the best stuff, it turns out. So
I have that too.
Wait. How was the game or the Wii version of Guitar Hero the best version?
Not the version, the guitar you use, like with the Wiimote in it.
How?
That specific model of like physical Guitar Hero guitar is, I guess it has like the best strum bar or something. I don't know the exact reason, but for some reason, all the top players use Wii guitars for that game.
Okay.
So I just wanted to point that out. So I'm lucky with what I have. Anyways, go ahead, Giradam. Adam, not Jur. Jesus, I can't do this. I'm choking.
I lost my memory. What's the second part of this?
You were playing the red button Ocarina of Time.
Ah, yes.
And it's the best version, and it's amazing, and you're amazing, and we're all amazing.
We're all amazing, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I played Majora's Mask there, and that didn't go so well.
How much did your game crash?
I don't know if it ever crashed, but at the same time, I didn't really get very far. I got lost in the swamp, and the time ended, and the moon killed everyone. I wasn't about the whole time of day thing when I was, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old.
Are you about it now?
I'm better about it now. I've never been huge on Majora's Mask, but it's a game.
Yeah, the internet has taught me to lighten up to Majora's Mask. I think I had a similar experience. I got to Lakebed Temple, and I got stuck on the boss in Lakebed Temple, Georg.
That's not Majora's Mask. Okay.
Wait, Great Bay. I was thinking Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Great Bay Temple, my bad. All right.
See, I didn't hear it wrong. I heard Lakebed Temple and was just like, you know what, Great Bay?
That's it, yeah.
It was one of the water sounding temples. Anyway, I got that far.
In Odyssey, I got to Jolly Roger Bay, and it's just like...
Anyway, so yeah, you played Majora's Mask, and I don't know. I just remember like the GameCube version, my game would like crash randomly sometimes. It was kind of dumb.
Dude, that must have sucked for people that owned the GameCube version. I just thought it through. Like you have often talked about the fact that version often crashed, but Majora's Mask sucks for crashing.
Maybe that's why I hated it. Or I didn't hate it. It just wasn't my favorite Zelda by any means.
That's because you can't save it unless you go to an out. Like if you turn it off mid-cycle, you just start the cycle again.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I wasn't about it. It was too weird.
Dude, I was all about it because it was weird. I have gone on so many tirades. I don't even know if tirade's the right word, but I've ranted about how good Majora's Mask is.
Well, you know, I think it makes sense that you gravitated toward Twilight Princess to run because, let's be honest, it really ripped off of the progression of Ocarina of Time's build up.
Yeah, it definitely did. It has a similar game, I don't know, style or theme to it.
It's darker though. Isn't it darker than Ocarina of Time?
It's so edgy.
It's very edgy.
Yeah.
You see, Twilight Princess came out in that era when everything had to be edgy, you know, Shadow the Hedgehog, that kind of stuff.
Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, oh yeah. That was before that.
The super dark. Controls that are uncontrollable.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
Anyway, so you played the Zelda games. When did you start playing Twilight Princess? And was it like, did you love it right away? Did you... see, with Super Mario Sunshine and I started playing, like I played it casually, and but I more fondly remember my casual playthroughs of SM64 and Galaxy. But like I can't even imagine putting as much time into those games as I have Sunshine. So was it an instant click with Twilight Princess, or did you like play it and go like, okay, that was fine, and then come back to it years later? Or what?
Yeah, so I definitely picked it up casually and then just put it down for many years. I got it in 2006 when it came out, and I enjoyed it, but I stopped very early on, actually, in Elden Twilight, I believe. I couldn't find the bug. I couldn't do it. I couldn't progress further, and then I put it down for like a year, maybe a year and a half. And then in 2008... I picked up the game again. I started over, and I beat the game. I probably 90% of it, but I enjoyed it.
Dude, I've done that so many times. I think starting over, if you're like, if you played it for like a week and then put down a game, but put it down for a long period of time, like a year and a half, starting over is always the strat.
Yeah, I can never go into a game mid-game most of the time, especially with like Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. I've tried to beat that game twice. First time I got like pretty far, got stuck somewhere, gave up, came back to it a year later, started over because I had like, where the fuck am I? I'm gonna start over. Exact same thing happened. I needed to like actually finish that game someday. But anyways, that's enough about Metroid Prime.
But yeah, starting over, it was probably the good strat.
Starting
right?
over is the strat for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. And then a couple years later, probably like 2010, 2011, I played through it once more. Probably got around the same percent completion, but I played it again from start, and it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And just because we talked about other phases, keep in mind from like maybe 2005 to 2011, maybe, I was playing RuneScape like constantly. So
Ooh.
I was one of those kids. And then around, no, it was probably 2012. Because at that point, I kind of stopped when I got into college. And then it was 2013, that summer. I saw Summer Games Done Quick, and that's what got me into speedrunning. I didn't think I saw Twilight Princess there. I'm not sure if it was Ran, but Cosmo, I think Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker, one of them is like the first speedrun I saw on SGDQ. And then from there, I got into the Twitch community, and obviously I like Zelda games, so I started watching the big Zelda runners. And then I eventually came across like Mofat, Fino, Demon, Samu, Rodner, like all these big Twilight Princess names at the time. And I just thought the speedrun was cool. It looked cool. I liked doing the boomerang jumps. And then I picked it up from there.
So the boomerang jumps is what sold you?
Yeah, I think that only. That's the only reason I played the game.
Yeah, with Sunshine, I was sold with water slides. I was just like, yeah, these. I'm just going to do these for 6 years.
I don't know what sold me with Sunshine other than I wanted to run a game that I had in childhood, and I thought Mario 64 was too popular already. So,
dude, nothing. I feel like nothing drove me to Sunshine. I just owned it. Like I swear, I just saw it, and then I just went, just like, you know what? I'll put it in, and I should do that more often. But so the great divide with Twilight Princess. There's in 2006 2 versions of Twilight Princess came out. There's the GameCube. Did they hold it for the Wii? Did they hold it so that they released it on the Wii?
yeah,
and the
that was
GameCube?
their whole plan.
Yeah, I think it was to kick off the Wii sales, as it was like one of the. I think it came out with the Wii around that same time.
I wonder how many Twilight Princesses were sold entirely. Because we know the Skyward Sword stats that it's like 4 mil, but it's probably more Twilight Princess, right?
I'm assuming they sold more on the Wii because that was like it came out when the Wii came out. But
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't know the stats or the numbers for like total discs, but if you compare GameCube to Wii sales, there has to be at least like 5 to 10 times more Wii. It's actually very difficult to get the GameCube disc nowadays. It's not difficult, but it's very expensive. I've just in the Discord, I've seen some people pay like maybe $100, €100 for the disc. Like it's hard to come by nowadays.
For like a used disc, right?
Yeah, not even new.
That's insane. Like luckily Sunshine, I think it's still like $30 for a Japanese version used.
It's cheaper for a Japanese version now.
Yeah, exactly. So like I think like like the price factor of the GameCube disc could also contribute to not many runners right now. I don't know. One of those
Yeah, for
things.
sure. But most people will definitely start
Emulator.
on, those secret software things that can play games.
I don't know what emulator is. I only play legally, guys.
I recommend that, like, whenever anybody talks to me about starting a new game or whatever, I always recommend investigate it a little bit before actually jumping in and like spending upwards of $120 on like old hardware and old software in order to speedrun it, because you don't know if you're going to like it or not.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a good strategy.
Yeah, so I always recommend that, like, don't immediately buy everything for Sunshine. Just like test it out, test the waters. If you want to, cool. Get 3D All Stars.
Or you could be like Raisefire and day one of a skip being found by the PAL version.
Buy the PAL version because nothing else. Because you can't do it on any other version. Or,
wait, 1 second later, it turns out you can. So,
so the Great Divide, the Great Twilight Princess Divide, the Wii version. And the GameCube version. I own the Wii version. I was one of those guys.
What about the Wii U version?
See. We'll get to the HD release because we have to talk about the HD release because we just got a release too. You know.
That sucks for you, but yeah.
But right away. So you had the GameCube version. I'm assuming you did.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Trey had the GameCube version.
Yeah,
as well.
Giradam and I were both lucky enough to have the proper version.
I went around Hyrule and shook my Wiimote and slashed grass.
I think that I secretly always wanted the Wii version because I was like, man, I want to swing my sword now with my arm. But now I'm like, thank God I didn't get the Wii version.
I kind of want to replay it. I now that we're having this conversation, I kind of want to replay it and like know how shitty the controls are. But
I feel like everyone who doesn't care for the game as much had the Wii version, and everyone who had GameCube version is like, yeah, it's a good game. Like, I think it's good.
I always thought it was too easy. What was your casual playthrough like, Giradam? I always thought it was too easy. Like I was a 14-year-old, you know, I was like, fuck this shit. I loved Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I always thought Twilight Princess was way too easy, but am I just like a dirty casual? Am I like these new SMS players for 3D All-Stars saying that the controls are shit? Like am I one of those Twilight Princess haters?
Well, do you think the entire game was easy or just like combat?
The bosses?
The bosses are fairly easy, except like 2 or 3 of them. In a casual play, speedruns it gets a bit more difficult.
Well, yeah, see that's why I related it to the fresh hate for Sunshine we've been hearing lately. But so I'm gonna get back to the Great Divide, the Wii version. What do you think of the Wii version?
It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game.
I don't play the game. I don't like the Wii version. I respect it because there's certain glitches and tricks that are unique to that version of the game, but I'm not about it. I can't even watch it for more than 10 seconds because the game is mirrored.
Yeah.
And it just messes with my brain.
I was just about to say, it's just like leaving Ordon Village, I turn left to go to Eldon.
Yeah, that's like Hylia.
I always think, dude, I cannot flip it in my head. Even no matter how much time because I played through it all. Like I 100%ed every game I owned when I was a kid. I don't know how long the span of quote me like as a kid. I don't know how long that span is, but I always 100%ed every game I owned, except for Bulletproof or Bulletstorm. Bulletstorm sucks. Everybody, Bulletstorm sucks.
Got it.
But
noted.
But I always 100%ed it. I got everything in the game. Even if I didn't like the game, I did it. Twilight Princess I like. It's fine. But I can't, no matter how much of you I watch or Fino I watch or Rodner back in the day, I cannot flip it in my brain. I always think it's weird. I like zone out when you guys go to Eldon and I'm like, oh, he obviously went left. You know, he turned left.
I just mirror my OBS.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. I just mirror my gameplay in OBS.
Oh, there you go. That's smart. The one memory I have, the only like Wii gameplay I've seen in any form is I remember Bonesaw used to do Twilight Princess 100% Wii runs. You remember that, Giradam?
I do not.
I
remember Bonesaw though. I remember him doing certain runs like that. I never tuned in much.
Yeah, Bonesaw would do 100% Wii Twilight Princess, and I was like, huh, interesting. But yeah, I can imagine the Wii version sucks to you because they removed the one thing that got you into it, the LB, what is it? Long boomerang shit.
BLJs.
BLJ.
The BLJs, yeah.
Yep. No, LJs.
LJs.
I mean, that really isn't the only thing that got me into it. I just like the speed run. I like the movement. Like it's not as clunky as the N64 ones because you can like curve rolls, for example. There's just more fluidity to it.
That is really cool that you mentioned that because like looking at the movement of Link, I've always thought it was, I don't know. It's always seemed cleaner than the other ones, or like
I think it is for sure.
Like there's more nuance to it. It seems like
It always irked me in Ocarina of Time. I hated rolling in Ocarina of Time because there's like that weird pause where like he stands up after each one. It always looks weird to me.
That's completely natural. I don't know what you're talking about.
True. But yeah, like in TP and Wind Waker, like the rolling is so smooth. I always like that.
Well, even comparing Wind Waker to TP, I think Wind Waker, you still go in a straight line. You can't like change your angle during it.
Oh, right. I was just referring to like the weird pause after each individual roll.
Oh yes, they definitely improved that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So from your reaction, I guess you've never have you touched the Wii version? Have you ever played it?
I think I've probably touched a disc, but I've never played it.
I've touched a disc.
Yeah, just going back to how available it is. I think you can get a Wii disc for maybe $10 to $20. It's pretty cheap.
Dude.
But yeah, I'm just not a fan. It's too hard for me to watch. You mentioned it already with the BLJs that there's certain glitches that are patched. That one's actually unintentional. It's just you need to target for the long jump attack, and on the Wii version, if you pull out your sword while you're targeting, you untarget whatever you're doing. So it's not that you don't throw the boomerang and target it. It's the fact that you take your sword out, it removes that, so you can't jump attack it.
Okay.
There's other interesting things about it though, like the magnetic floors, like ceilings and floors in Goron Mines. On the GameCube version, you just have to walk slowly on them, but on the Wii version, if you equip the iron boots to go on them, force unequip them, like remove them with a separate item, it'll actually keep you on them and you can walk around at full speed. So that's actually it's not like a massive time save, but for certain categories, you might save like a minute or two just on things like that. But there's also other weird things like 100% in Cave of Ordeals, the Gerudo Desert dungeon where there's 50 floors. On the Wii version, I think it's 1.0 only. It has to be like a developer something that they left in, that there's a torch on each floor, and if you extinguish it with the boomerang, the next door just opens, so you don't have to actually defeat anything. You can just use the boomerang on the torches and go through the whole cave.
Is that cool to you?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Nothing about it's really cool to me.
Has anyone done a speedrun of that version? They're just putting a torch out 50 times.
Yeah, like
with the torch, you said.
Has anyone done a speedrun of the version like with the messed up torches?
I mean, there's people who have done speedruns. I mean, yeah, there's definitely been 100% runs where that's done. It's just not so popular. The most popular Wii runner is Simikins. I don't even know the time, but it's not that far off compared to the GameCube version, as you might expect, with less glitches.
Really?
Or I guess what I meant was like, has anyone done like an IL, like Cave of Ordeals IL with the messed up torches?
I don't know if anyone's cared enough to do that,
Okay.
but
That sounds
maybe.
exciting.
Like I was asking if it was cool in a sense that would it like do you like playing Cave of Ordeals enough that it would be like would you miss playing each floor versus putting out the torch in like a hypothetical speedrun, like put it in regular GameCube version?
Yep.
Would you like to just throw a torch? Because whenever I watch anybody do Cave of Ordeals, it doesn't seem like that interesting. And it's just like kill a bunch of rats some floors and a bunch of chew jellies some floors, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just a bunch of weird combat. But from your perspective, would it be cooler to just put out a torch and go to the next floor or not?
No, I mean, I think it'd just be boring. But real quickly, shout out to Simikins, but I just checked the leaderboards. It's actually Habrino who has the record. It's 3.5 hours, like almost exactly. So it's about 35 minutes slower than the 80% GameCube record, but it's not like it's 4 hours or more. It still has a lot. And there's other weird things in the game, like if you don't skip a cutscene going to Argrok, for example, if you just watch the cutscene, it actually puts you in the fight after, and it's faster just to watch the cutscene. So there's weird differences like that. But overall, I just not a fan of the game. But going back to Cave of Ordeals, I wouldn't want to skip each floor just because I find that incredibly boring.
Yeah.
As a viewer, it might not be too entertaining, but as someone who does the run, it's actually extremely difficult. I think Cave of Ordeals is harder than any of the dungeons. There's some luck elements to it, but overall, it's kind of a challenge because you don't want to take damage or else you lose the great spin, the 7th hidden skill, that is. So it's actually fun from a runner perspective, but it's really stressful. Like, especially since you do it like almost 6 hours into the run. If you take a hit, it's like you could lose minutes. So
like Gerudo Valley is like the last place you unlock. So it has to be a minimum of whatever distance into the game.
It's not even that. You could route it in earlier. The issue is two things. One, you can't access the floors you need to because every 10th floor, there's kind of like a gating item you need. The first one is you need the spinner, but when you go past floor 30, I believe, you need the Dominion Rod. So at a minimum, you need to have Temple of Time done. So it's kind of dependent on that, which is around 4 hours into the run. But you also save minutes by having the last hidden skill, Great Spin. So you need that, and it also helps to have more bombs, more arrows. So you want more upgrades. It just so happens that it's optimal to have 6 hours into the run, but I think older routes have had it maybe around 5 hours into the run, but I don't think it can be much earlier than that.
What's the reward at the end of Cave of Ordeals again?
Reward isn't that special. Every 10 floors you get, I'll say unlimited, but not really unlimited, but essentially unlimited fairies at each of the overworld springs. And then the last fairy, she will give you a bottle with fairy tears, which is like a super strong upgrade for all of 20 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, but it's a bottle, right?
No, she just fills the bottle. She doesn't give you a bottle.
So... Wait, that's all you get?
Yeah, yep.
I remember it being like nothing and being like, oh, okay. And then just being done. But
yeah, that's why we don't finish the whole thing. The run stops at floor 43. Because there's 3 Poes in the cave and you need 60 Poes. And the last Poe is around there.
Right, I forgot about Poes. I was wondering, like, so why do you even do it if you just get like a pointless thing?
Yeah, so it's really just for the Poes.
Wow.
It unlocks
it's also good for rupees.
It unlocks the fairies in the overworld like springs?
Yep.
Really?
Pretty sure.
Dude, that's insane. I've never made that connection before. But like at some point you come back later to the springs and you're like, oh, there's fairies here now. Well, I guess this makes sense. You know, it's peaceful here now. Fairies would come back or whatever. But I've never really thought about it from the idea that the Cave of Ordeals did it. Anyway, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the great fairies. I mean, I skipped through the text, but I'm pretty sure if you talk to the fairies and like read what they say, I think they say what each spring they unlock the fairies in.
That's cool.
I'm pretty sure
there's a fun little Easter egg later in there. There's the postman hiding.
There's a postman in the Cave of Ordeals?
Yeah, he's in so many random parts of the game, just like hiding. And if you talk to him, he has something unique to say.
I remember that. I do remember that. There are little bits you're saying, and I'm just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, he's hiding in the cave. He's in the goat barn. He's in Zoro's domain. I think somewhere in Plum's minigame, like somewhere you can't even get to him. He's just on a post.
Huh.
So weird.
I never actually
Princess
found the Cave of
game.
Ordeals as a kid, so I never experienced the fairy thing, but
God, you didn't find anything.
Yeah, I suck at finding stuff. I think I only got like, I don't know, I definitely 100% it though. There's no way I did.
I mean, to be fair, if you don't know the speedrun or just the game in general, it's not very intuitive to find a lot of these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't extensively explore every nook and cranny like Sid does growing up.
Dude, I'm still looking for Korok seeds.
I think I was the kid who got sort of bored. Like I beat the game, I would go like try to find like a few more things. I'm like, okay, I'm bored of this.
I think I stop around like 80 to 90%. I very rarely get to 100% in games. Casually.
You looking for Korok seeds, you're looking for like brown balloons in a brown environment. Like what?
Yeah, where's Waldo? It's not fun.
Eventually I'm just like I don't think I've played Breath of the Wild in like a month, but every time I turn it on, I try to find one Korok seed and I'm like, okay, I can turn this off for 3 weeks at least.
Okay,
Breath of the Wild, I think I only did like 40% of it at best, but there's just so much to the game. I'm just so intimidated to get more, but I think it's a great game. I should play it again.
Yeah, I recommend that. I Breath of the Wild, I think everybody talks about Breath of the Wild and Odyssey in the same breath. I think because I'm a Mario player, I'm more of a stickler towards Odyssey. I'm more of a curmudgeon towards it. So playing Breath of the Wild is, even though what was the Odd Me tweet recently, Trey? I think Odd Me tweeted out something along the lines of everybody that shits on Odyssey for like its number of moons really liked Breath of the Wild, or like liked collecting Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild or something. And I'm sitting there going like, yeah, but like I had to beat it. I had to beat it into my system in order to kind of like debatably, quote unquote, enjoy it.
Are there people who actually dislike the whole moons thing, though? I didn't get all of them, but at least each moon was unique, not just a...
I thought that it was fine. Like, there's the argument of, oh, every moon has equal weight, like sitting on a bench and like doing all this random stuff.
That's my argument.
Yeah, but no, it was like also like the Joseph Armstrong video as well.
Yeah.
But like I don't really care about that. Like from my perspective, like Mario is Mario. I don't really care what the collectibles are, or like it's just... The collectibles are there just like as a means to make you do something with Mario. So I'm not really worried about like, oh, why is this moon equal weight to this one? This is bullshit. I hate this game.
see, it's different. I feel like me collecting Korok seeds, I don't have a time limit. Like I'm not streaming it. I don't like have a goal. So I'm not like, fuck these Korok seeds. All these Korok seeds suck. I'm like, okay, well I have 700. I have 200 left. I don't know where the rest of them are, but I'm not in a rush. I can periodically turn on this game. But when Odyssey came out, I was like, I need to 100% this game as like not as fast as possible, obviously, but it was just like I want to 100% it and be done. It's the streamers speed run.
There is like a definite impact on gameplay when you're streaming a game versus playing it casually offline, because when you're playing it offline, you're not like, again, like you're not in a hurry when you're streaming, but when you're taking a while to do something, you're just like taking in your surroundings, like being as casual as possible. You feel like you're wasting people's time in a way. You're like, okay, I better get a move on now, though.
It's the streamer's speed run. I like to.
It's speed streaming. Like whether you notice it or not, like a little subconscious force pushes you to keep going in the game when you're streaming.
Yeah, you want to fill the dead air.
Yeah.
So like when you're just walking in an open field and doing nothing, you're just kind of like, oh. And if you do that for 3 hours, you can eventually argue with yourself that you're being boring.
And also, like the biggest example that affects me streaming casual games, especially blind, is when you don't know where something is, right? Casually offline, you're like, okay, I'll just look for it. Even if it takes an hour, like no big deal, I'll just find it eventually. On stream, though, you're like, I look so stupid right now. Everyone knows where this is. I don't know where it is. I look so dumb. I better not read chat because someone's going to spoil it. There's like this like anxiety you get when you can't find something on stream that I wouldn't get playing it offline.
It's interesting. Like I never thought about it as speedrunning until like watching people play Sunshine, and they just want to be done with it. Like recently with the 3D All-Stars, they just want to be done with it. So
yeah,
they get mad at the game for not letting them be done. And it's not a speedrun per se, but it's like their version of wanting to complete the game as like quickly as possible without being quote unquote boring or whatever. I don't know. It's just an interesting perspective. What were we talking about? Hello, Giradam.
What's going on, Sid?
So you got into Twilight Princess speedrunning, and then you became the best Twilight Princess speedrunner ever.
Yeah, like describe your journey. Like how did you go from picking the game up, being new to speedrunning? What motivated you to rise to the top of the game, and how did that journey go? Was it an easy journey? Was it full of road bumps? How did it go?
Just thinking. No, there were definitely road bumps along the way. As I said, I picked it up in fall 2013. I think at the time, Fino had the record when I picked it up. It was a 3-hour, 22-minute speed run for any percent. My first run was like, I think 4 hours and 5 minutes. Then it was like 3:45, then 3:30 something. And then I just slowly worked my way down, and then it was just fun to improve, I guess. I'm sure both of you have experienced that when you first learn a game, and then at some point you can't just do another run in PB. You have to actually start practicing and getting better. And for whatever reason, I stuck with it. I was just really into speedrunning, I guess. I wanted to keep it up. Eventually got pretty good at the game. Wasn't really considered like a top runner at the time, but I was in that like second tier. Now there's like 10 different tiers, but I was in that second tier of like pretty good players. And then at that point, I started switching to other categories just to see the game more, play the game in a different way. And I think this is probably about 6 to somewhere between half a year and a year after me playing the game. I did all dungeons, and I think, yeah, I don't remember how long I was playing at the time, but I did get my first record in the game was in all dungeons. It was like 4 hours and 20 something minutes. And at that point, I was pretty good at the game. Like, people would recognize my name, speedrunning it. And I think probably a few months to half a year later, this is probably when Rodner was at his prime. And that was a big motivation at the time, because we would just go back and forth with the record. And this was probably when the any percent run was around 3 hours and 10 minutes. And then it was pretty much just us going back and forth with the occasional Zapphire got the record once.
Oh, yeah.
Just Zapphire.
I've heard that name in a while.
He's pretty cool.
And I think
we would just go back and forth, though, and it was just fun to keep playing the game and pushing each other. And then he got the first sub 3 in summer 2015, I want to say.
See, that was it. When we were interacting with one another way back in the, like when Calf had the record in Sunshine and you were trading the record in Twilight Princess, the meme that we kept, like we didn't really have an acquaintanceship or anything. We just kind of like randomly messaged each other, like when we were in each other's chats or in Calf's chat or something. And I was just like, when's sub 3? And then you would respond to me, it's like, when's 119? And then I'd be like, fuck.
That's what it was.
That's where that originated. I remember that now.
See, it wasn't just Giradam bullying Sid, it was a mutual bullying.
Yeah, I remember now.
I was gonna say, I don't think
too.
I'm just a straight up bully, but it was retaliation. That's what it was.
Yeah,
There you go.
When's
Yeah,
119,
Sid started
asshole?
it. Sid started it.
Maybe. Maybe. That's probably true.
It's okay. Look where we are now.
Yeah. We're
so
recording a podcast.
Having like someone who you're fighting against going back and forth is definitely a big factor. And so it was all dungeons that was happening in, or any percent as well, he said.
This was any percent.
Any percent.
Rodner never really did. He did other categories now and then, but he never cared for them as much as any percent, as most people do. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't really care too much about the other ones besides 100%.
What about no S and Q?
That's got a special place in my heart. It stays there until I'm beaten, then I'll run it again.
Okay, random question. Do you think that no save and quit still deserves a spot on leaderboard, or is it kind of like a relic of the past and shouldn't even be there, probably?
I think it's okay for certain games. I don't really think it should be there on new game releases, but I think for Twilight Princess and other games that has a certain history and should probably stay there. I mean, it's not too different from any percent route-wise, but it has enough unique things and kind of cool tricks that you only really see in that category where it kind of deserves its own spotlight. So I don't really have an issue with it, but at the same time, if it were to go away, I wouldn't mind so much, but it carries a lot of game history, so I think it's okay to keep it.
It depends on the game, though, right? Because, like, if you just turn on Super Mario Sunshine, no save and quit, it doesn't mean anything. Or Super Mario 64, no save and quit, it doesn't mean anything. But, like, with specifically Wind Waker, or I guess not Wind Waker, because you can do back in time in Wind Waker, but it doesn't do anything. And you can do back in time in Twilight Princess, but it means a fair bit. But, like, having a no save and quit category for Twilight Princess actually affects it, rather than like no save and quit in whatever game, like whatever random game you mention.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, back in time, it's not like the end of the world. Like, it's definitely a really cool trick and saves time. I think it probably saved like 3 or 4 minutes before the whole boss flag glitch was found. After that, it probably saves around like 6 to 7, if I were to guess. But even besides that, if you can't save and quit, like you have to get the Zora armor, for example, because the start of Lakebed, that save warp in any percent, it puts you at the start of the tunnel because you have the Master Sword. But if you can't do that, you can't make it through that starting tunnel without drowning. So you actually just need the Zora armor. So it does change the run a lot in certain ways.
My initial impression of that category from years ago was that no S and Q existed because any percent was too hard for a lot of people.
That's kind of how it was in 2013 and before that. I mean, I think before that it was more of just like what was that website, like SDA or something?
Speed Demo's Archive?
Yeah, where it had to be like single segmented.
Yeah.
No save and quit. It's kind of like that. That's what any percent is, and that had a lot of weight in the Twilight Princess community. Whatever year speedrunning kind of kicked off for that game, it eventually became like, yeah, the any percent. I mean, I'm sure you guys know too, but like, there's so many games that are like in 2012, 2013, like, this glitch is impossible. Like, no human can do this.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like people are doing pillar clip like it's nothing. Like,
yeah,
20
I
times in a row.
remember specifically watching Samurai Man. He would always lose runs on pillar clip, and now everyone gets it all the time.
Yeah, it's just over the years, it's like you learn more about it. You learn like weird quirks about it that make it simpler, things that kind of help you out, and
setups.
Yeah, the setup was actually a huge factor in that, like specifically for pillar clip, because we learned that if you call Binda like in the wall, you'll just eventually float up a few seconds later and clip. So you don't have to like do this difficult clip and then call Binda while you're out of bounds. So that made it much simpler.
Yeah, with Sunshine, it was always honey skip for years. Like, no, only the highest level of runners, like even above Trey and I, back when we were like top 10 SMS players, even like higher levels than us did honey skip, and we didn't until we watched like Cloaked Yoshi.
No, it was only Stelzig and Cloaked Yoshi who did it.
Yeah, it was Cloaked
And
Yoshi
actually,
and Stelzig.
I think another good example is Yoshi Skip, because Yoshi Skip was originally only the shitty sidestep setup and back jump.
Yeah.
And then you would just like lose runs to that randomly because they were kind of bad setups. But then the Huffle Your Puff setup was found. Now it's pretty much free. So
yeah, like everything over time. Like it's not a good example right now, but because last week I lost a run to honey skip, but most of the time I can just do honey skip and not think about it. But when you're on a good pace run, sometimes you think about it too hard and then you just mess it up. But
yeah, the hard part of honey skip is like going sideways too much because like your hands are shaking. But yeah.
Yeah.
Not hard.
And then you remember, I should have held forward and right instead of just right.
Yeah.
And then you press too hard and then you sidestep out and you're just feel like an idiot.
And 1 week ago, I mistapped the iron boots for doing pillar clip, and then I floated too much and I drowned.
Hey!
So
Ooh.
it happens.
How far into the run is pillar clip for what you're doing?
For 100%, it is about 1 hour and 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more. Any percent, it's about 40 minutes in.
Yeah, so
is it just go for it?
How would you rate 100% as a speed run? Like, is it fun to do, even though it's obviously like what, 6 hours long, right?
Yeah, it's about 6.5 hours long. I think it's incredibly fun. It's just the only hard thing is maintaining like good gameplay and stamina for that long. Like
it's tough.
I have to get up every couple hours just to like stretch, or like it's like I can't really like eat or do anything else. So it's a long period of time to be dedicated to something. So it's really draining.
There definitely is like a mental speedrunning stamina thing where you can play a lot more intense in a shorter run than like a longer run. Even in like when I played 120 Shines, it's hard to like stay in that mentality of like doing the fastest thing you can the whole way through without like mentally being drained. And then 100% Twilight Princess is even twice that length, so it's an even more extreme example of that. So
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, I'm used to an any percent being 3 hours long.
You're already used to that long run, so
yeah. I was thinking about 96 Shines being like 2.5 hours, and I'm sitting there going like, yeah, Yeah, it is a while. You're right. It takes a lot of mental energy, and it's just like, oh yeah, my any percent is what you guys do. It's like, oh yeah, all right, I forgot.
No, it's definitely draining. It's just, it is what it is. But overall, as a speed run, I think 100% is really good. It's definitely my favorite speed run for the game. It's just the only factor in running it is how long it is. Like, I can't do it for too long or I just burn out. But it's pretty good. It's probably proportional to any percent, like lengthwise. Like, I think it has maybe 2 times, maybe a little more than 2 times as many tricks and glitches that are unique to the category, and there's equally as much to show off. And of course, being so long, not many people run it. So when people do run it, it's exciting in some way because you just see things that you never see in the game.
Well, you know what? I'm still holding out for TP 100% to get into a GDQ one day. That'd be really exciting.
I gotta talk to Fino about that. We've been submitting it every GDQ for like the past few years, and I think I saw submissions coming up for AGDQ.
Going to be online again, unfortunately, but understandably.
Yep. No, it makes sense. Maybe we'll submit, but I'm not sure logistically how to manage that unless we meet up.
Mm-hmm.
So, to get back to the TP history, you and Rodner traded the record back and forth. Eventually, is this around when HD came out? HD's 2016 or 2017?
You tell me. I don't have it. I don't know.
I don't own it. Well,
I don't have it. I don't have a Wii U.
See,
Yeah,
my question is, so you traded it back and forth. Eventually, you took breaks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I take breaks all the time.
Rodner took breaks. Eventually, HD came out. How did that affect the community of Twilight Princess runners?
So I don't think it really affected it that much. It's kind of like, of course, everyone in the community who had a Wii U and played the game, they had a lot of interest for a while, but it eventually just faded out. And then most people just went back to SD or went their ways doing whatever. I mean, overall, I don't know. I think it's better than the Wii version, but not at the same time.
Better than
it has its things, but I'm just personally not so interested in it. At least it's not mirrored for me, but overall, I think it's an easier game. They kind of made Twilight simpler, for example. You can warp and equip items easier. There's a lot less to it. Like, certain glitches and tricks were patched. Like, I don't think you can do early Master Sword. It's just a simplified version of what most runners run, being SD on the GameCube. And for that reason, I just don't find it so entertaining, because to me, it's just a watered down version. It's less of a challenge.
Huh. See, I remember when Twilight Princess HD came out, Fino came back, right? To do that for a while.
Yeah, there's definitely some runners who still run it. It's just not nearly as popular as SD.
Okay. So, where is the Adam train headed in Twilight Princess? Like, you're playing 100% lately.
Yep. So, as you alluded to, I take a lot of breaks. So
I do too.
I'm getting back into the game again. I don't always start with 100%, but I had a reason to, being that I rerouted it like three and a half months ago now, and the route is faster. So I want to see how far I can push that game before I get burned out. And at that point, I'll probably go to other categories. I haven't been too active in any percent in a while. A big reason for that is the speedrun hasn't really changed in like 4 or 5 years. So
yeah,
there's been like new tricks here and there, but like the overall route has been the same. And I just don't find it fun personally. Like, I burn out easy on that because it's just the same thing. It's not new. It's not fun to me.
And just to reiterate, has there been like any serious leads of like potential skips that could happen, or is it still unclear right now?
It's still unclear. Like, there's always things here and there. Like, if we can find out how to hit Zant on the ice phase without the ball and chain, we can completely skip Snow Peak because that's the only reason you need the ball and chain.
Oh, huh.
But we've known that for like 10 years. So
it's crazy
there's
how
always
like
things out there.
it's crazy how early some stuff gets found sometimes.
Yeah. I don't think it took long to skip Temple of Time completely. I think that was within a couple of years of the game's release.
Have you ever had a wandering eye with speedrunning?
What does that mean?
Well, I like you're a Twilight Princess runner through and through, right?
I am.
Have you ever been like, you know what, I'm taking a break from Twilight Princess. You know what? Let's look at another game to speedrun. Or like have you ever thought about speedrunning another game?
No, I've definitely had those thoughts before. I actually started not with Twilight Princess. I started with Ocarina of Time, but I couldn't even learn the game, so I switched to Twilight Princess. I couldn't do the Door of Time clip for the Master Sword in one category, and then I couldn't do the Vine clip in not Breath of the Wild, Bottom of the Well to get bomb chews. So I couldn't pick up the game. It was too hard for me. So I switched to Twilight Princess, which is weird because OOT I think has much more resources to learn those things.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Twilight Princess is easier than Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Or do you think that's just like if you would have started Ocarina of Time nowadays? Do you think there's enough helpful guides and stuff that Ocarina of Time is much more not as difficult to learn now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the categories have changed so much that I think it's just much easier. There's more resources, many more people, better practice tools. But the same thing can be said for Twilight Princess. So
right.
I think most games are like that now.
That is definitely the case in Sunshine, because when I started playing Sunshine, there were probably like 2 tutorials, and they were from Hidden Power 13, maybe like 1 from Ice Windowsill. That's all we had. So.
And now everybody just has a tutorial.
Now there's like 20 GBS tutorials.
Like after people got good, they're just like, I guess I'm making a tutorial now. Like,
it's the natural progression of speedrunning. Once you retire, you make a tutorial.
I guess. So, Trey.
Yes.
Should we ask the guest finale question?
Yes, and we have to ask at the exact same time and say the exact same interviewer.
We have to say the same interviewer?
No. I'm scared.
Okay. All right. Hypothetical. Trey, set up the hypothetical.
Okay, so let's say that you are walking into a building, Adam. It's a nice building. It's full of marble surfaces, the ceilings, the floors, the chairs, they're all marble because that's nice and shit. And you're wearing a suit, you're walking in, you have your plastic folder with various papers inside.
Yes.
And you're going to an interview. It's a gaming interview. I don't know what the job is. It's a job in gaming, all right?
I'm really excited to hear what Trey's interviewer is. I'm really excited.
All right. Well,
you have an interviewer chambered?
Your excitement will be fulfilled because you are going to be interviewed by none other than, I haven't thought of anyone yet. I'm thinking of someone. Who is it going to be?
I was thinking Rodner.
Well, I mean, that was the obvious choice, but I was like, what, who's like someone creative? Unlike Sid's option.
Okay.
You're being interviewed by gymnast.
Sure.
I don't know, some other Zelda runner. All right, so you're walking into an interview, and you're handing gymnast, your interviewer, your resume. Not just your boring old resume, not just boring job stuff, right? This is your gaming resume, full of your best gaming achievements, just in general. What is on that resume?
Well, a lot of Twilight Princess.
No way.
Yes way. I mean, in terms of records, I've had the any percent record, I don't know, at least 10 different individual times, I'll say. No save and quit. I can say the same thing. All dungeons, I've pretty much had the record for probably 5 or 6 years. Different times, but the same, me being the record holder. 100%. I've also had it for probably around the same time. I mean, people will beat me now and then, but anytime I go back to it, I think I usually take it back. So I can definitely say I've had a lot of records in the game. Not too many people know this, but in terms of optimizations, like finding just general faster movement, certain tricks, or just routing, Any percent, I've probably, it's not that much, but given what the game is, I've saved probably a minute doing that.
A lot more than I have.
Saving quit, maybe a few minutes. All dungeons, probably the same. And I actually have a route idea that I've had for weeks, and I just have been too lazy to time it. And I'm like 99% sure it's faster and works. I just need to confirm it. And that will be a unique route that the game has never seen before. So that'll be interesting. And 100%, I've probably cut off maybe 15 to 20 minutes in optimizing routing. So
would you say that, like, you're referring to having record and then people come and get it and then you like come back and get it fairly easily or whatever? I remember back when we were interviewing Cynicism, he would always reference, like, he would try really hard and get the record, and then some sleeping giant would be like, well, I guess I gotta dust off my controller and then play the game for a week and get it back pretty much super fast. Are you the sleeping giant of Twilight Princess?
I think I could be considered that, but at the same time, maybe every category except any percent right now, given that it hasn't changed in so long, it's pretty optimal for what it is. It can still be improved, but I can't just take it back within like a week or two. Like, everyone who has a better time than me, like I'm fourth place right now. Top 4, maybe even top 5. I'd have to check the leaderboards, but the top 4 or 5 runners, like, we all have 254s. Like, if you take the highest time compared to what the record is, it's probably within like 40 or 50 seconds. And if you just look at like small differences throughout the years, like new findings, or just take out stupid things, everyone's run is within not a large margin, like probably 10 to 20 seconds if you factor in those things. So everyone in any percent who has a top time, they're all very good runners. I mean, shout outs to Audie or Case Master. He has the record right now. Great friend of mine, but his time wouldn't be easy to beat, and he just doesn't run other categories. I think he could also beat my times, but with that being said, he doesn't have as much experience as I do with the game overall, so it's just easier for me to do that.
I was just interested. I like you just referenced it as just like, yeah, I just come back to the game and I'd snipe the record. I'm just like, we're interviewing the opposite person now. we're interviewing the bully.
We get multiple perspectives here.
Yeah, in the Video Games Are Hard podcast. Anyway, you can continue with your resume. You're prestigious. You're prestigious. I was gonna say pristine, and then I cut it off and said prestigious.
Your resume is pretty pristine.
Yeah, it's pristine.
I mean,
it has a cover letter.
I think it's just Twilight Princess. I mean, I can put down my 16-star time. I think I have a 19-minute time.
Any non-speedrun stuff, just random things you've done in games that are epic? Playing a lot of Minecraft?
This one Rocket League goal,
I'm so bad at
sick.
Minecraft. I've never played Rocket League.
It's free to play now.
Oh, is it? Interesting.
Yeah.
Still won't play it. Minecraft, I'm terrible at. I was forced to play it by the Twilight Princess crew I'm associated with, and where I spawned, I have keep in mind, I have an old laptop. Like, I'm very cheap in general. Like, I'm not going to get a new anything before this thing dies. So my laptop's from 2014, and that's what I stream and play on.
Dude,
Frugal.
I had a 2014 laptop as well, but I upgraded like 2 years ago.
We use the word frugal in this house.
I'm frugal. Very frugal.
Okay, so one of your resume skills, frugal.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're saying that one of your resume points isn't that you play a lot of Minecraft?
No, I probably played a total of like 5 hours at best.
Interesting.
Anytime I played it, the server we play on, they just spawned like a bunch of cows and pigs, and they all had children, and there's like 5,000 of them. So I can't even like load the game without aggressive farm animal noises happening, and it's not fun.
I remember, did Huffle Your Puff, like when we had the Good People server, Huffle Your Puff crashed the server because he spawned too many chickens?
Hopefully your pup was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. He was
like 10 minutes into the server, you'd go to his house and open a chest, and it would be like full of diamond blocks, and it's just like, what the?
Yeah, they spawned like 1,000 chickens, and Hopefully your puff was dead ass playing off. Oh yeah, I got like 2 full stacks of diamond blocks for the diamond genuinely. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like Trey and I are just hanging out. We build our house, and then I'd build a bridge, and then we'd be done. And then you go to the Huff, and it's just like, what the? All right.
Okay,
cool.
128 diamond blocks, sure.
And we crashed the server with chickens. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm like trying to figure out how to make like a furnace or something, and Case Master's like flying around on a jetpack. Zapphire's got a dog. I don't know.
See, the dog, I could have a dog, okay? That's not that hard. Jetpack, I have no idea. Isn't that a mod pack?
I don't even know. Something with redstone, maybe.
Can you make a jetpack?
Redstone?
Yeah, it's called redstone.
I've heard you can do anything. Your imagination is the limit.
You can make a calculator.
They made calculators in Minecraft like in 2010. It's crazy. But yeah, like any other... I'm just curious, how big is your GameCube collection? How many GameCube games do you have?
If I had to guess, probably like 20 to 30.
Okay, that's about how much I had probably.
Good amount. Not crazy. Not too
Are
little.
you excited for a PS5?
I've never owned a PlayStation in my life, and I've had an Xbox for a total of like 3 days.
Wait, how? What did you do with your Xbox?
I got it when, let's see, in 2008, I think. I got it because all my friends at the time were playing Halo. So I got it to play Halo.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me, and then I traded it back, sold it again.
What's the newest console you own? A Switch, right?
Yeah, a Switch. And before that would be a Wii.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, dude, Giradam and I knew. Skip the Wii U. That thing sucks, dude.
That's it. I've owned... I think this is the first console generation, or... I don't know about console generation I'm going to skip, but like everybody's pre-ordering the PS5. There's all this drama out there about how like all the website is crashing. There's not enough pre-orders in order for everybody to pre-order whatever. And I'm just sitting here going like, was there anything good? Why is everybody so excited about this?
Yeah, I don't see myself immediately buying a PS5 if I do decide to get one. I'm probably going to wait till some more games come out because with the Switch, I immediately got that and only had like one game for a while. So
yeah, I pretty much got the Switch for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And then I've gotten games here and there as they come out. I don't have like a huge collection, but maybe, I don't know, around 7 or 8 total games. I've enjoyed it.
You a big Tetris 99 fan?
I have not played that.
It's free.
It's free. It's free to play.
Am I going to play it though?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do
I don't know.
You need it's free to play, but is it free to buy?
Well, you have to have online.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't have online.
See, that's the rub. Like with Rocket League right now, this past week, Epic Games has put it on for free. You can no longer buy it on Steam, by the way. Rocket League is not on Steam anymore, I guess. And you can't buy it on Steam. I can play my Steam version, but it's gone. You can't the store page is gone. It's done. And it's on Epic Games for free. I re-downloaded it just in case I get a lot of Steam friends anew to play Rocket League with me. I don't think it's going to happen, but I did re-download it. And so now that's a thing. I don't know, free to play is the way to go. $20 for Fall Guys? Pshaw. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Among Us, though. Oh,
$5.
I haven't played either of those games.
Well, yeah.
Among Us is really fun with the right group. You should play with the TP boys, Among Us.
We're frugal in this household.
It's $5, like Devil Daggers.
Should we mention the kitchen that you designed in
I did not design this.
Well, okay, all right.
Let's talk about that, yeah.
Okay, Trey kept mentioning it for a while, so it's a kitchen you designed.
I did not design this kitchen, I promise.
This was one of our I don't know.
We're like, dude, he designed this kitchen. We have to get this guy on the podcast.
We got to get Giradam on the podcast because he designed a kitchen in Microsoft. What was it, in Paint?
Twilight Princess Overlord kitchen paint designer.
I forgot about that.
It just did you tweet it out? It was just a picture of a kitchen in Paint.
In Paint, yeah. I was just at my parents' house watching some TV, and this commercial comes on where someone, not me, designed a kitchen in Microsoft Paint. And I had to go back because I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, and I saw Microsoft Paint open. So
you didn't do it?
I did not, unfortunately.
Damn.
I'm so sad.
Still impressive though. You fooled us. Okay. So my point. So Sid brought up something that I forgot about. I have something Sid probably forgot about. So we were watching your stream one time a while ago, and you brought up something interesting. And in my notes, I wrote it down so poorly, I forgot what the point even was of it. But I wrote down Giradam hyphen high pitched noise Gen Z be gone.
Ah, yes.
Wait,
My I don't even know how to word this.
Like the CRT high pitched noise, right?
Yeah, my Gen Z
oh yeah.
audio warfare against them.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's because Sid couldn't hear it, and it was like, oh yeah, it's because he's not a Gen Z, he's a boomer, and he lost his hearing at the upper range.
Right. So the theory was CRTs are like a Gen Z be gone because the younger you are, the higher pitch your ears can hear. So us boomers like me and Sid, we can't really hear the CRT buzz as much as we used to, I think. But like the younger kids, they can hear it, so it keeps them away. That's the good thing about CRTs. Am I right?
So this is the stream you were talking about the fact that your mic was picking up your CRT sound, and you were like, "Who can hear it?" And I was just like, "I don't hear anything wrong. I think it sounds perfect."
I remember the stream like it was yesterday.
and you were just like, "Oh." And I'm just like, "But I'm 28." And I'm just like, and I've never realized that I can't hear the high pitched noise anymore, but maybe that's true. I don't know. That's an insane thing though. You can just jack that up and just chase everybody out.
I don't think I can carry that thing on my shoulders and chase people. It's kind of massive. Yeah, I'm a CRT enthusiast. I will not game any other way.
Dude, how do you do that? I have a CRT that sits 3 feet away from me. It's in a box. It's been sitting there, I think, for 5 years, 4 years. It's just sitting there. No, but it used to be my brother's, and I stole it from him when he moved because he was just like, you know what? It's a CRT. I don't care. And I got it, and I've been playing on my monitor ever since. I think I set up the Wii like for SMS on the CRT once, and I was just like, yeah, I don't feel the difference. I'm just gonna make it so that I can actually see things, and I play on a BenQ.
So
perfectly fine.
The interesting thing is Case Master, German Twilight Princess speedrunner. I visited him a few times now, and he has a CRT. And when I play on it, it feels so slow to me. I feel input lag, I feel delay, and it feels normal to him. But to me, I notice it. And then I've also visited Skyrion, and he's in Norway, and his CRT felt more normal like mine, and when Case Master played on his, he thought it felt different. So there's some CRTs that are not equal to others.
Oh. I never knew that. I thought they were all the same.
Can't explain it.
I always see, like, Trey and I both used to play on LCD HD TVs.
Okay. So let me go through my history of what I play on really quick. So the first year I ran Sunshine, I was playing on an LCD TV. It had crazy input delay, but I was used to it.
Yep.
And it didn't really matter that much because it's not like Melee where it's like a reaction-based thing. It's just timing inputs in like a static single-player game. So I eventually transitioned to monitor setup because I had to get a more compact setup when I went to college finally. So I was like, what's the best setup for that? Oh yeah, just play on a monitor, get an HD capture card, easy. And adjusting to that took me like an entire week because it was like at most like 4 milliseconds input delay. So essentially a CRT. And then I played on monitor for like the next 4 years up until actually more like 5 years, I guess. Up until I got my CRT about a year ago that I have right now actually. For the last few months of running Sunshine before I took a big break at the moment, I actually played on CRT. And the reason was, even though monitor felt good, it felt fine to me, I got a CRT specifically because my current HD capture card cannot play certain GameCube games that don't have progressive scan. So I got a CRT so I can play whatever I want on my Wii. And again, it feels just like monitor, except I can't see as well. But I'm a CRT kid now. What can I say?
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
That's what. Sometimes you just got to play on what you got to play on, and I am not willing to play on a CRT. I looked at it and I was just like, it's too orange. It just
Well, you
looks
gotta
weird.
correct the colors, bro.
Yeah, you gotta play with the color settings.
Well, I know I would have, but it was too orange, and I'm just like, I'm not willing to put in this work to
I
change
actually-
the colors.
I spent pretty good money on the CRT too. It was like, including shipping, it was like nearly $200 probably from eBay. But it has really good cables. It looks really clean. I didn't want to get like some El Cheapo thing that looks like shit, so I wanted to go big, and it still holds up really well right now. So I'm glad I got it.
So, Giradam, do you have anything else you want to talk about, gaming wise, you wise?
Not too much. I mean, I know you guys have talked about Twilight Princess, the Wii U version, the Wii version. There was no mention of the Switch version. Not the Switch, the Shield.
Switch.
The other S word. The Shield version.
Shield version.
The Shield.
What's that?
Hey, what?
What?
So I don't know this console too well, but there's a Shield version of the game, which is like an Android device that's made in China. It's basically the IQ, but for Twilight Princess. And there's two people who have it in the community that we know of, Fino and Venick. And it's got some weird things about it. Like, you can't do back in time because when you do it and you're on the title screen, it for some reason like sets your analog stick position to like down left or down right, one or the other. And no, I think it's upright, because when you do that, like, fine, you can do back in time, but you physically can't save because you can't move the cursor to the save option.
What?
So there's weird things about it like that. But as far as we can tell, it's essentially the GameCube version. Some things are patched. Like, I don't think map glitch works, but it's just, I don't even know what it is. It's just so advanced that there's like no load times. So no one has done like an optimized any percent run on it, but we theorize that if someone did, it is probably around the same time as the record right now on GameCube, even if it has less glitches, because it saves so much on loading. And we think in 100%, if someone were to do a run, it would probably save like 10 to 20 minutes, something like that. But
I never heard of this.
yeah, it comes up now and then. It always makes a massive spike of drama in the Twilight Princess Discord, just on how to handle it, because I'm maybe biased here because I just don't think it belongs. It's so inaccessible right now. It's like a few $100s to get. You have to go through this really weird process of getting it. It takes months to show up to your door. It's just not fun to get. It's inaccessible. It's just strange.
Wait, you said it was like an Android app or something?
Yeah, it runs on some, like, I think it's called the NVIDIA Shield, and it basically runs Android, but it's an emulator for Twilight Princess, but it runs like a Chinese version of the game. It's the only Chinese version of the game.
That's crazy.
But if it's essentially emulated, would that not be legal for speedruns?
It's legal because it's a released version of the game. Like, it's technically it's not like you're running Dolphin. It's like Switch and how it runs an emulator for the new Mario games.
I never knew. I always thought it had to be like released by Nintendo. It just as long as it's released by someone, it's fine.
Well, I think it is in some way affiliated with Nintendo, or else it couldn't have been done.
Right. Well, I assume like, well, if it's from China, it could be like a bootleg thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it is official. Like, it has other games on it. I just don't know what they are. I only know Twilight Princess. But
yeah, I have never heard of that, and I've heard of the IQ. Well, what is the segment of the population that knows what the IQ is but doesn't know what the shield is, or vice versa?
I guess just us, apparently.
That's so weird.
I mean, I don't think too many people know about it unless you're into Zelda speedrunning, but unless you have some association with Twilight Princess or just all the games in general, you probably don't know about it.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to picture this. So
mention.
you said there's no load times at all?
There are, but it's minimal. It's like frames.
Because I'm just picturing going into a cave. You know how like you go into a cave, it fades out slowly when you come back in. What does that look like on that version?
Isn't actually part of loading. That's just forced. Loading starts like when it's completely like black, and then before it fades in.
I was just picturing like going into a cave and you boom, like next room.
That's pretty much what would happen. Right now, you go to a cave, like it fades out. I don't know, 2-3 seconds of loading, fades in. On that version, you would just go like fade out, fade in.
That's crazy.
No dark period.
Huh.
That's a good honorable mention. I'm glad you mentioned that. Now I know what the shield is.
That's a crazy like prospect in the future of gaming. There's gonna come a point where games become so inaccessible, like GameCube original versions, that it's gonna have to go to like some weird Android, iOS, Chinese bullshit that we play off of with quicker load times. And I don't know, man. Is that the future of speedrunning?
Dude, I see. I don't know what. I don't know what the future of speedrunning is. Since 3D All-Stars comes out, there's been like a bunch of people. I don't know a bunch of people, but for Sunshine, there's been a few people being like, we should combine the leaderboards, and we're all just like,
it's a very loud minority.
Well, like, see what I mean is, like, you're saying that that's going to be the only accessible version at some point in the like.
Well, okay, no. I was saying that, then I was like, oh wait, 6 month available. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm saying for the Shield, where it's just like eventually there's just going to be this nebulous version that everything's on. And
right.
Like the Wii version and the Switch version and whatever are going to go.
And like you got to pay like $10,000 for a GameCube disc.
Yeah, and like eventually it's going to be that kind of deal. But right now it's just like. We're just talking to people that own the Switch version, being like, "Yeah, we should combine the boards." I'm new. We should combine the boards, and it's just like, okay, no. It's just there's a lot of that stuff.
The newer you are, the more your opinion matters.
Is there anything else we want to cover? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there was some Mario Sunshine stuff. I'm sure Giradam really cares about.
I'm down.
See, at the end of last week's episode, I was talking about how happy I was that we didn't have to talk about Sunshine, but I realized after that episode ended that I play the game. And,
you do?
Yeah, I still play the game. So, like, talking about the game, I guess, is second nature. And I've actually been watching a lot of casual players of it. And, like, looking through Twitter. While Trey has been doing his casual playthroughs of SM64 and Galaxy on stream.
Oh yeah, I finished Galaxy last night, 120, and we might race Luigi 120 at some point. We'll see.
Yeah, if I set up a file for it, I think that'll be fine. I just have a dead zone in the bottom left corner. If anybody knows how to solve dead zone issues with the
motion sensor bar,
yeah, with the sensor bar, let me know. But I've been watching a lot of casual playthroughs of it and perusing Twitter. And posting tweets in Trey's chat of people that are shitting on it. It's interesting. So, like, for a period of time, Super Mario Sunshine was looked at upon, like, in the speedrunning community, is looked upon as, like, this golden goose of speedrunning. Everybody's just like, oh, it's so great. It's so great. It's so great. And everybody forgot that the casual playthrough is, like, it's not, like I said earlier, I remember my Galaxy and SM64 playthrough more fondly than I do my Sunshine playthrough, and the only reason I speedran it is because I owned the game. And I was like, oh, it's interesting. But I can't imagine not speedrunning it. And I got to watch day 1, day 2, and day 3 Sunshine players and their opinions on the game itself, knowing as much as they do after 3 days. And it's been a lot of fun. I don't know. I don't have that much tied into, like, I don't need everybody to love Super Mario Sunshine, but it is funny to, like, read through Twitter, and some of the quotes are, Sunshine is the demented afterbirth of Super Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie, what?
I don't know.
I wasn't even really like Banjo-Kazooie.
that was one of them. What was it? I linked you one on stream. You wouldn't read, but it was
because it said porn in it. I don't want to say porn on my stream.
It was that Super Mario Sunshine is just misery porn or something.
And by the way, that guy had a Mario Kart Wii profile picture. That's all you got to know.
It's just like there's a lot of people. And what was it? Dode, like the SMW player, speedrunner, like in the speedrunning community and stuff. Actually, Spike Vegeta talked about how like it's a great speed game, but it's shit or something like underneath that.
Yeah,
note
and
tweet
I
that
totally
linked.
understand that.
Yeah, Casual Sunshine. Hey, Giradam.
I said,
Hey, how's it going? Have you ever casually played through Super Mario Sunshine?
yes, I have the disc.
Did you have a good time?
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
When did you casually play through it?
When did the game come out?
2002 for the Nintendo GameCube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Never heard of it. I don't know if I got it like on release, but probably around that time. I'd expect like 2002, 3, maybe 4 at the latest. I played it when I was young.
So you say you had a decent time.
I had a decent time.
Do you think it's just nostalgia talking?
It's possible, but I enjoyed it still.
All right. There's a lot of nostalgia talk. A lot. It's funny how many people reference how bad the controls are, and I'm just sitting there going like, I can't.
Okay,
like,
so I think
I find that interesting because from speedrunners like you two, I feel like I hear people who run the game think the controls are great.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know where the disconnect is.
I think the disconnect is that you actually have to like put some time in to get good at the controls, unlike Odyssey where anyone can be good.
See, the funny thing is, like, I'm the reactions toward 3D All Stars. I'm affiliating it with Super Mario Sunshine and being like, oh, this is just kind of like a cool way for me to watch people. Like, it's just a rejuvenation of, oh, there's a lot of casual playthroughs of Super Mario Sunshine I can watch, and it's just kind of fun to watch people suck, you know? And I'm linking the two together, the HD version of Sunshine and the classic version. But like the controls are different. That is true. And a lot of people are talking about the controls randomly, being like, yeah, I played it as a kid. This feels way different or whatever. And I'm like, okay, sure.
That always surprises me. It's like, how can you even remember from as a kid playing it? Like, I don't know. Maybe you can, but yeah.
I don't think I would be, like, if I didn't speedrun Super Mario Sunshine, I probably wouldn't notice.
Same.
For sure. But what was it? The fact that like a lot of people are playing through the game, and it's back to the streamer speedrun thing where they're just trying to get through it. They're not like trying to 100% it in 2 days, and they're beating their head against the wall of what's a watermelon festival and Rico 8.
See, Sunshine's a game where like you sort of got to take your time casually because it's not like a cakewalk like Galaxy where as long as you know where the stars are, you're probably going to get it like in a few attempts. Like Sunshine, you know, it takes some work. And then when you're on stream, you have like that voice in the back of your head like, oh man, if I spend too long here, everyone's going to think I'm stupid or something.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, that definitely happens.
There's that. Like, I guess the main like crazy theory that's actually kind of hilarious seeing it play out is there was like that golden age, right? Where it's been at least a decade since anyone's really played Sunshine a whole lot. And people were watching speedruns, seeing like people good at the game and like, oh wow, this game is sick. I remember this game. Yeah, I love this game.
Yeah.
And then when All Stars comes out, they actually play it again and they're like, oh wait, this is trash.
Yeah, they audibly puke.
So the main underlying thing here is that Sunshine, when it first came out, it was pretty much hated upon by a good population percentage.
Yeah.
Then it became more and more liked over time, you know. People weren't really playing it. They were viewing it through rose-tinted glasses. And now they're playing it again. And now the hate cycle of Mario Sunshine began again.
It's really funny to see it come to fruition. But it's just interesting that, like, even with the history of speedruns now, and even within, like, speedrun sects of the community.
Sex?
Speedrun sex.
That's the title of this episode.
No. But like Super Mario World speedrunners and like random speedrunners that know of the Sunshine speedrun, and then they go like, this is a pile of garbage, the controls are shit, whatever. And I'm just like sitting there going like, I don't even know what to say. Like, what do I, sure. All right. I don't know what to say to you.
I mean, if that's your opinion, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just funny to see like a bunch of people just randomly hate on it. Or like, I guess not randomly because it's new again. But I don't know. It's interesting. It's fun. I watched an hour of a guy doing Rico 8, and
Barbarous King.
Yeah, and he was having trouble jumping on the platform to like I understand, okay? I understand the rants of how am I supposed to know to spray this platform with Yoshi juice and then the platform moves? Like, I understand this.
You gotta mess around with it. It's a little puzzle.
But I understand the issues that you have with it.
Yeah.
And then the guffaw you have when it actually kind of works. And then when somebody tells you when you like somehow figure out a way to get the shine, that if you ate the coconut that was in the tree, you would be able to turn the platforms pink, and then the platforms would go up because they're pink now.
Yeah. To be fair, Nintendo did a really poor job of communicating how that mechanic works.
I get it. I totally get it.
But
I think
also to be fair, that's an optional mission. So
true, but casual players don't know that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like they don't know that, oh, I only need the Shadow Marios. They just kind of go like, oh, well, I'm playing the game until something happens. Right?
I'm getting 70 shines, right? It's a shine total kind of deal.
Yeah.
Casually, there's so many. They're not stars, they're shines. Yeah. So many shines that I just couldn't get. Like that beach one, the watermelon thing, like 8th level. That wasn't happening. The duck guys that kept throwing my watermelon everywhere.
Cataquacks, please.
Yes, the ducks.
Yes, ducks. Thank you. They're called ducks.
Yes, the ducks. The plunger
Plungellos.
ducks.
Oh wait, that's the wrong one.
But like it is funny to like. I understand it's not communicated well. I understand. And sure, getting the durian every time you jump into the water as Yoshi, kind of a hassle. I get it. Oh, dude, what's funny is that he suggested something that actually me as a speedrunner was just like, oh, that's actually a really interesting idea I've never heard. What if Rico 8 was a secret level? Where, like, somehow you entered the secret with Yoshi, and then the secret level, like, at the beginning, you always had Yoshi, and you had to use the platforms?
Yeah, I think that it would have been much better game design if there was, earlier in the game, maybe even earlier in Rico, like, a required secret stage with that mechanic being explained to you, and then it shows up in Rico 8, and you're like, oh, I know what to do here. So...
See, that would also require Yoshi to not be a rushed thing that gets unlocked by completing a level that seems to be unrelated completely to Yoshi, except for the fact that there's Yoshi egg design on the Koopas that you kill.
I said it last night on my stream, but I think that if Sunshine wasn't a rushed game and it had level design at the level of Mario Galaxy and still had its same movement, it would be like the perfect game ever made. For me.
Yeah, well, no, that's true. But back to my Rico 8 thing, where he was playing Rico 8, and I understand all those complaints that the mechanics weren't explained, whatever. But it's just funny that, like, I sent you a clip of it. He goes on a long rant about how if you like this game, like, I understand nostalgia. You're like essentially calling everybody that plays it like he's also hamming it up for stream or whatever. But like he's being like, yeah, this is not a great game. This is a bad game. If you like this game, fine, but it's a bad game. After he's literally just missed a jump. Like, it's nothing about the level. It's just like there's a platform in front of him, and then he tries to jump on it, and then he just falls into the water. And then he just goes on this rant, and I was having a great time. It was just a great time, and I've watched a bunch of streamers like that. But people are also loving it. I don't know. It's just interesting to see all of this fresh interpretation of Sunshine.
Sunshine continues to be the most divisive game in the series.
People hate the controls. People love the controls. People hate the camera. I don't know if people love the camera.
I don't understand the camera hate. Okay, I can understand. Okay, you suck at the game. The controls suck for you. Fine. The camera, it's the best camera ever made. How can you hate the camera?
I don't know.
I don't get it. Maybe because it's inverted and you're not used to it. The camera's flawless, in my opinion.
See, but do you agree with the Super Mario Sunshine on the Switch version being impeccably controlled?
Do I agree with it?
Yeah, like, well, people are talking about it and being like, oh, the controls suck and stuff, but I'm affiliating it with regular Sunshine and then just an updated version. I never bought All Stars.
See, I'm thinking, no, the camera's even better if you're, like, new to the game because it's not inverted. The camera's not inverted, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see how it can be bad to you, like just from my perspective.
Well, I'm not even talking about control or cameras. I'm talking about controls. Like people are saying the controls are shit, and I'm just like, well, I didn't.
Well,
play
yeah,
this
you got to
version.
do some remapping to make it feel somewhat like the original. But I think if you don't really use YCam a whole lot, it's not bad because for some reason they mapped YCam to stick click. No idea why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all I got on that.
I just think it's really funny that it's like 2002 all over again, but the internet exists and YouTube exists.
Yeah, dude, it's literally it's reliving that period where people hated the game, except you can see everyone on the internet doing it.
And then just everybody's either loving it or hating it, and then. But what's one thing that's different is that the hate that's put out. There are people in the responses being like, no, it's good.
But yeah, there are like the random white knights in the game. Like, what are you doing? Like, oh, you just said it because you suck at it. And I'm sitting here like, I mean, it's fine to hate a game. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I guess I just did that with what I was talking about, the Rico 8 thing, but I don't know. Also, nobody has to dedicate more than 4 days for me to be happy. I don't care.
Also, yeah, streaming a game affects your perception of games big time, I've realized. I still, even though, I streamed most of my Outer Wilds playthrough on stream, it was kind of fun. I enjoyed streaming it, but I like playing games blind offline so much more. I don't know. I don't like the added pressure of like making sure you know where to go and not being spoiled and stuff. It sucks.
I think you just gotta try to ignore it. I don't even know. Like,
yeah, just ignore your chat messages coming in. Yeah.
Do you ever stream anything casually, Giradam?
No.
See, you're smart. You're smart, unlike me.
You're a smart man.
Well,
you're doing it right.
Anything casual I do would be old as well. I don't have an HD capture card or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I'd have to play the game on a... Can you play the Switch on a CRT?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't think those two go well together.
I'm sure you could if you have like an HDMI to component adapter of some sort.
Yeah, I don't have that stuff.
It would look like shite.
Anything casual I do is just on the Switch, and I just play the handheld console version.
No, here's what you do. You play handheld, and you take 30-second clips every 30 seconds.
I could do that.
That's a Switch feature.
I could do that, but I don't stream casual games now.
Now, or did you before?
Never. I will never stream a casual game.
And I wouldn't recommend it. It's not for everyone, but some people, it's their thing.
Actually, that's a lie. I did it once.
What'd you stream?
It was so bad.
What was it?
Like Grey's Anatomy, the Wii version or something.
There's a Grey's Anatomy game.
My girlfriend at the time got me it.
That's the last thing I expected you to say.
Dude, I should stream Jenga for the Wii.
Grey's Anatomy on the Wii.
I may have killed a man. I don't know.
I still gotta play. I bought Goosebumps with my Nintendo points on the Switch. I haven't played Goosebumps yet, but I will at some point. But yeah, it's just about time to wrap this up, probably.
Well, it is about time to wrap it up, but this is the final episode of the season.
Grand finale. It was great to share it with Adam here. He was a great guest.
Great to be here with my two favorite dream hosts.
Yay.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're going on a little bit of a hiatus. Unless you're like finding the podcast in a year and re-listening to all the old episodes, there won't be an episode next week.
See, we're giving you a chance. I know we get a lot of viewers who are like, oh yeah, I'm about, 5 episodes behind, but I'm catching up. Here's your chance to catch up if you want to watch them all. They're all there. 50 episodes. We have roughly, doing some quick mathematications in my head, 80 plus hours of me talking to Sid recorded on my YouTube channel.
That's a lot of hours.
So if you really like listening to me and Sid talk, and with maybe someone thrown in there occasionally, it's all there, just random bullshit on my channel. And
I like that you're advertising it in the end of the final episode.
I'm just saying, people, for some people I know, it's crazy to me to hear. People actually enjoy listening to this podcast. It's shocking.
It's fun.
I know. People are like, yeah, when I'm at work or at the gym, I just put it on. It's fine. That's really cool to hear. That's really great to hear. But if you're sad at all that, we're taking a break, possibly indefinitely, but possibly not for long, it just kind of depends on what we feel.
Yep.
They're all still there, 50 episodes. It's a lot of content, and this will give me more time to work on other stuff. I'm, working on me, as cliche as that fucking sounds. And, figuring out what I'm doing. Almost done with the video I'm working on. The video I'm making about why speedrunners say that they suck, which I'm sure Adam is very familiar with.
I suck, yes.
He's also, I think, in that category of saying, oh man, this run sucks. I'm making a video explaining why people do that. And I'm like 4/5 of the way done editing it. I think it's pretty good. Hopefully you all enjoy it. It should be out in the next few weeks. So, still making stuff. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, I'll be streaming on Twitch periodically. And that's kind of it.
Sid will stream every single day for like a week and then stop for a month.
Yeah, that sounds like me. Hey, Giradam, what's your stream schedule going to look like?
My schedule right now is 100% runs on Saturday and Sunday only. I was doing practice on weekdays the past few weeks, but I'm no longer doing that. Maybe I'll do runs there once I switch to another category, but I'm running Twilight Princess for now until I take a random 1 to 2 year break, as I do.
So twitch.tv/Giradam.
That's
And thanks for everybody listening to the podcast. It's been fun to do.
It's been a ride. I don't know how we lasted a whole year, an entire year, every single week, except for that one vacation, doing this.
You referenced it that time. It wasn't me.
I know, but I just had to throw it out there. It's like, wait, if it's a whole year, how come it's not 52? Well, that's why. So,
thanks, Giradam, for being our final guest.
Thanks, Sid, for being one of the 2 dream hosts.
And then I guess there's me who just sits here. And then, yeah.
And we'll see you next time if there is a next time.
Catch you on the flip-flop, everyone. Is that a saying? Flip-flop? I don't know. Bye.